In my last video, I was talking about the potential for world disruption due to uh, the Gulf War and its impact on liquid natural gas. Since then, looking at all of the figures, it looks highly likely that the UK will have rolling power cuts next winter. Because of the world shortage of liquid natural gas, there is a high likelihood that people will be experiencing rolling power cuts from electricity. This is most likely to happen in the UK this coming winter 2026. But of course, many countries are already experiencing these rolling power cuts. As a prepper, one has to look at a whole range of dimensions when being prepared. The first one is the type of emergency that you're looking to prepare for. Is it a food crisis, a oil crisis, a gas crisis, a communications crisis? There's all sorts of different ones. The second thing you've got to look at when you're a prepper is how long the disruption is going to be. Is it a few days, a few weeks, a year, or indefinite? The next dimension is who you are prepping for. Are you prepping for yourself, for your family and friends, for your community, or indeed for your country? Each of these has very different courses of action. When you're prepping, the other dimension is what resources you have available to you. Resources that you already own, resources that you can lay your hands on, resources that other people might share with you. All these you have to factor in when preparing. Another aspect is where you live. Your preparations are radically different if you're living halfway up a high-rise apartment or in a 3-bedroomed urban house or a terraced house in the countryside. Massively different problems. The other thing you have to consider is what other people are doing, what your government is doing, and factor that in to how you prepare. In order to cover all of this, there's no simple way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is do a series of talks which take particular view of a problem and give a view on how one might prepare for the worst. The first of these is by far the most likely, which is power cuts. We've all experienced power cuts simply due to storms or the fuse going in your house and you needing an electrician to come the next day to fix it. So how do you prepare for power cuts? Power cuts that are just short duration or power cuts that are short duration or perhaps longer term. The experience of the rest of the world is that power cuts tend to be relatively short. In the winter storms, there were homes that were without electricity for almost a week. But for the most part, most homes were reconnected within 6 to 12 hours. During the 3-day week, some 50 years ago, the country had rolling power cuts where the government scheduled times when you would have power and when you wouldn't have power. And these rotated around the country so that the grid could cope. Rolling power cuts are a permanent feature in many countries, such as South Africa, where the grid is unable to cope. Even in developed countries, when there is a major issue with supply or demand, or when they happen together, power cuts can occur, as in what happened in the Iberian Peninsula earlier this year. What I'm going to do is make a whole raft of suggestions about how you might prepare for routine power cuts. This perspective is purely about your household, and that these power cuts are relatively short. You have power some of the time. There is a few comments about extended times, but beyond that, that's the dimensions that we're working on. First thing about all prepping is, if you're prepared, you're helping everyone else by not being part of the problem. So this is why I'm promoting to get other people prepared. There's going to be power cuts, or there is a power cut. The first thing you do is turn everything that is non-essential off. When there are power cuts, that typically means that the grid is unstable. If you leave equipment connected, there is a significant chance that when the power comes on, it could damage it. Indeed, don't just switch them off, unplug them.